You are listening to the Nyx Archive, the official Relic RPG actual play podcast. You can play Relic absolutely free right now by going to relicrpg.com. Welcome back, everybody, to the Nyx Archive. I am your Game Master, C.D. Corrigan. I am, of course, as always, joined by my lovely co-stars. Maddie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Maddie, and I'll be playing Farah.
And the lovely Miss Marissa.
Hello, I will be the voice of Skink.
Alrighty then. We pick up again in the midwinter sun. You guys have just retired to your room, only to be disturbed by a knock at the door. A large Hemsworthington-esque centaur in open-fronted furs has knocked, greeted you, and had the door slammed in his face by Skink. What would you two like to do?
So Skink has just said there's a hot centaur at the door.
There's a hot centaur looking for us. We're tired. We've had a long day. What are we doing? Who is this guy? He knows our names.
I don't know.
What do I do,
Farah?
Farah? Yeah. Farah's annoyed. Skink is distrustful.
Yeah, like Farah doesn't really like people all that much. She doesn't like, especially when she's tired. But I think at this point, like, I know that he was part of Chester's group and that they were tasked with getting the scroll for the elf where they found flakes. And now, since I felt the flake, I'm curious. So I'm going to say that we should probably open the door.
Okay. So the first time I opened it just like a sliver, and there was just my tiny little face, like 2.5 feet off the floor, staring up at him.
You were like staring at a Clydesdale's kneecap. Yeah.
What I would like to happen next is, so then Farah is going to join me. So we open it up, and now there's like two faces on top of each other. So, like it's open like maybe 2 inches more than I opened it the first time, but now there's like a stack. There's like a little stack of faces,
tiny
faces. Yeah.
So you guys open the door again, and this deep, like booming Idris Elba type voice. You can see he's kind of like craning down to like look at you two,
and we're looking up.
Hello, small mistresses. I come bearing a message. Can I?
What is it?
Right. He kind of reaches. He's got this like, not a saddlebag is the wrong word for a centaur because not a lot of people get to put a saddle on a centaur. That's a phrase that I never thought I'd say. But he's got kind of this like reverse hoodie type pouch that he can like reach behind his back and like reach in and pull stuff out. Ergonomics. He pulls out a scroll that is, it looks freshly. What am I trying to say here?
Roll?
It's a crisp. Yeah. It's a crisp sealed scroll. It is a very clean, crisp, like high quality, like vellum type material, with a big purple wax seal on it, with the image of a burning torch pressed into the wax. And he hands it to you. Goes, Miss Sive asked me to carry this to you, and my name is Orlo. I don't think we've met, but I was traveling with Chester and Cassie and Piran, and I've been led to understand by my companions that you assisted with the investigation once you happened upon the body, and I simply wish to extend my thanks in person, as I was not there at the time.
Well, you're welcome. I'm sorry for the loss of your companion.
Thank you. I appreciate that. He was a good kid. He was a lot, but he was a good kid.
Skink had been like eyes narrowed, distrustful the whole time until he said extend thanks. And now the Skink has softened and is ready to accept whatever he has come to give them.
You just hold your hand out.
Yeah, I just like I say nothing, but I reach my hand out like, I'll take this scroll, thank you very much.
Yeah, he kind of like bows his front 2 legs a little bit to like reach it down more ergonomically. Like mechanically speaking, for everyone Welcome to the Relic system. Humanoid characters, including some player characters, are not restricted to medium-sized creatures, which are like people-sized. They can go as low as small, which is what our lovely gnome and goblin are, which is rather short. It's like child-sized. And centaurs have the option to go a size up, large, which is closer to like, Clydesdale horses and oxes and such. So there's a big discrepancy here, is what I'm saying. Anyways, he bends over to hand it to you. He says, Bryn is eager to return south, and I haven't decided if I'm going to accompany him or stay here and look after Cassie. But either way, I think at least all of us will be in town for a few more days while things get wrapped up here. I suppose it depends on what happens with the investigation. Lady Estelle has asked us not to go anywhere for a day or two, so we will be around. I don't know where we're staying quite yet, but will you be staying here? Would it be okay if I called on you again?
Very well.
We'll be here.
Okay. I don't know what cause we might have for that quite yet, but
We'll be here. We'll be around.
I suppose it's just nice to know there are people in town who aren't immediately out to backstab us. Have a good evening.
Yeah, and he does.
Good night, good sir.
And you hear these just like, he kind of bows, and just the thunderous clops, as he, there's a awkward staggering of the pace as he navigates the staircase down, and you hear some muffled cursing, just,
It's not ADA compliant.
Not notoriously, centaurs can get up and down stairs, but they don't love it. And you two are left to your room.
Yeah, so I am looking at this, and I like the seal. And so Skink goes to some pains to, remove the seal without breaking it, just to, take it off in one whole little piece, thinking, I could use this wax for something else. Or, maybe I should do my best to make a little mold of this seal in case that becomes useful later. I would love to pretend to send things off with an air of authority in the future.
This is going to be, so you want to preserve the seal.
I'm preserving the seal, yeah.
Okay. So there's, trying to think. There's maybe a couple of ways you could go about doing this.
Can heat a knife.
Yes, yeah. You could cut it out of the paper around it.
Or you heat a knife and you slide it under.
So there is that, yes. So it's a matter of how much you're going to distort the seal itself by doing that. And I think there's probably some ways to do this relatively easy. I'm trying to decide if I want to have you do a check for it. From my extensive experience with wax seals on scrolls and letters.
I actually weirdly do have experience with this.
I have my own wax seals for my own letters, Chris. I'll have you know.
Yeah, I actually think as the GM, this is a scenario where my players have more knowledge. So I'm going to say you tell me, is this something that could consistently be done with very low chance of failure? Or is this something where, high chance of fucking up that seal?
If the wax is thick enough, if there's enough of it, I think that if Skink breathes on it a little bit to sort of warm it a little bit, maybe the breath moistens the paper and just very carefully sidles the tip of a nail or a claw or the very, very fine edge of a knife. If you worked slowly enough, it can be done without disturbing the paper. You just have to have time. You just got to have time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that will preserve this seal. I'm going to say there's no risk for you preserving this seal as it is. If you wanted to do something like creating a mold or a replica of it, that would be a further check, but we'll cross that bridge if we come to it.
I need it noted right here that Farah does not question at all what's happening. She's yeah.
I think even Pip is just yeah, that tracks, and just sort of nestles
We're just
into
waiting.
your hood.
We're watching.
Yeah.
Let up, mother.
I do think that maybe Skank looks up at Pip and says, "This one's mine, Pip. I'm not sharing." I'll give you
More
something.
wax, mother.
I'll give you something else. I'll give you something else later. So Skink very, very delicately takes her time, needling off the seal from the scroll, and then once it has popped off, carefully pockets it for later.
Okay. You have acquired, put somewhere in your inventory, Lady Sive's seal.
Yeah.
You're going to start regretting
Wax
anything
seal.
you give us.
I understand what.
And then, since I took so long with it, I just like hand the scroll over to Farah. Like, okay, I got
Farah
what I
just
wanted.
nods. Farah just
Here,
nods.
you read it.
Within is a simple letter, just a couple of lines. It says, "Friends. Can't quite decide if I'm enamored or annoyed by your snubbing me. I lean towards appreciating the gumption. Would be very keen to know what the necromancer learned from poor Chester's corpse. A little bee tells me somebody's been to Beacon recently. Would love to chat about that too. You know where to find me." And that's it.
Do we know what Beacon is?
That's the place where we found the scroll. That's the place where we freed the octopus.
Oh no.
How does she know?
How
Did
does
the
she
octopus
know?
tell her?
A little
right.
bee told her. Go ahead and roll a knowledge check from either of you. Target for this is going to be 7. You can both do it if you want.
I got a 10.
10?
We'll
We'll just get all the results in here.
Getting the results in. I got a 12.
Did you get a natural 12?
No,
Or
no,
is
no.
that-
No, it's
okay.
a 9 plus 3.
9 plus 3. Roger that. Yeah, so both of you would kind of, maybe it's not the first thing that comes to mind, but a little bee told me odd phrasing, and I think, oh, yeah, there's actually famously a species of giant bee around Beacon that was actually used as like a mount to be like ridden.
A person-sized bee.
Really a horse-sized bee.
A horse-sized bee.
Yeah,
Oh
people used
my
to put
God.
saddles on them and fly around. Very rare. Used to be domesticated, supposedly. Have mostly been kind of left to go wild these days, because once society collapses, hard to get the infrastructure to keep breeding giant rideable bees, It's one of those things. It's a lot of interconnected dependencies there.
KK.
All right, so
But,
both
yeah.
of us registered that like it was a literal horse-sized bee that probably told her.
Possibly. It's
Possibly.
possible.
Or she's dropping an extra hint about, like, I know stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Post reading this letter, it is quite late. What would you two like to do, or would you like to retire?
I just need it noted that I'm still highly annoyed by her, but I absolutely want to talk to her now because I'm interested in finding flakes. So, but I'm agitated that she knows where we were and that she knows anything about us. It's just, it just irks me. It's under my skin. But otherwise, I'm going to turn to Skink and say, well, I don't feel like dealing with this right now. We've done a lot today as it is. I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, that's a tomorrow problem.
That's a tomorrow problem.
So we both go to sleep. Is the flake?
I think
Where
you
did I
have
put
it
the
still.
flake? Do I have it?
You put it in your, you were like, it needs to be on one of our persons, so you put it in your coat, in your jacket.
I believe when
no.
Orlo knocked on the door, you panicked and tried to hide it under a pillow and then decided,
Right.
no, it needs to go in a pocket.
But I thought I gave it to you. Did I give it to you? I don't know. Either way, Skink recovers the flake and wants to go to sleep with it under her pillow.
Yeah, that's fair.
You guys bed down. I believe Skink had the cot and Farah the fur-lined bed.
Yeah.
Pip nests happily, kind of in a nook between someone's like shoulder or armpit or something. Just finds a little warm place to hunker down. Or at some point in the night, he hops over to that flue that iron pipe in the room that's carrying the heat up from the hearth downstairs and like nestles in there, and he just kind of moves around as he gets comfortable. And you guys go to sleep with this soft cerulean glow of a flake kind of flickering out from underneath Skink's pillow whenever she rolls or adjusts or thrashes in the night, depending on the quality of her dreams. You awake in the morning feeling refreshed to the smell of sizzling bacon and ham, eggs, cheese, just wafting up from the fires downstairs.
Oh, that smells heavenly.
Let's go ahead. We are on a new day.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to roll for Pip. Who
Roll
wants to
for
be evens
Pip.
or odds?
I guess I'll be evens this time.
And I'll be odds.
Okay. Skink is evens, and we're going to use the Tower of Some Troubles here. We don't have a Box of Doom here on the next archive, but we have a troublesome tower.
Tower of Troubles? Troublesome Tower?
Tower of Troubles? Troublesome Tower? Tower of Some Inconvenience?
Troublesome Tower. I didn't hear you
Troublesome
at
Tower.
first.
That's an even. Who was even?
I was Skink.
It was me.
Pip has decided that today, Skink is mother. And you, as you get up and start making your way around, he wakes and gives himself a little ruffle, and then he hops over and jumps into the nest of your hair.
Cute.
I adjust to the weight, sort of like adjust my center of gravity around it, and then I was like, let's go get some meat.
Meat, mother, meat!
There's something exciting being able in character to go eat meat that I can't eat in real life.
Yeah, I mean, listen, fantasy is escapism. Like, it's... I put cheese in there for me. Like,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about this. Sounds amazing.
You guys descend the stairs down into the common room of the Midwinter Sun. As you'll recall, this is a round room, several terraced levels leading down to a central bonfire pit that burns, and the smoke rises up and escapes through some discreet ventilation in the center of this domed room. You don't see Maria the Mare, bartender there. She was on duty pretty late last night. Probably isn't taking the morning shift, especially if this is her establishment. A young, we're going to say, give me a young gnomish chap is standing on a stool up behind the bar. Farah, you would immediately clock him as, in fact, a brass gnome. So a little bit different complexion than you. More kind of a, not gold, but brass. I mean, we know what brass is. More of a brass skin tone and shining in the light there. As the week... Actually, let me think. It would still be dark out in the morning this time of winter up in the Arctic. The sun only comes up really towards lunchtime and is gone after a couple of hours this time of year. So, still very dark in here. You hear the distant chimes of the bells sounding the morning time. Breakfast is being served. This young man kind of gestures up to you and says, Mrs., the complimentary breakfast is coming out. If you would like to grab a plate over there, and he kind of indicates like there's, how to get your food effectively. You guys are free to load up, and as I think you're doing that, you spot Aurelia across the room doing the same.
And that is
Oh
the...
my gosh. That's the fiendling. Yeah.
That is the fiendling.
So Skink notices, but isn't going to do anything first, and then looks up at Pip and says, Pip,
Mother.
I will give you a whole hard-boiled egg if you go steal a piece of food off of that one's plate.
Before you have even finished the word plate is fucking gone. Like, just bull, like he's a peregrine falcon style. You just hear, hey, what the? And he just and snips and does like a whole loop, and Arilla's like, you motherfucker, and comes back around and drops it in your hand.
And then I go, oh, you silly bird. And then I look over and I was like, oh, good morning, Arilla.
You feel Pip scamper down the back of your head and like peek out. Just
And I like make sure that he notices that I take like a whole bunch of hard-boiled eggs. So there's going to be like a little pile for getting her to notice me.
You feel him do a little.
Yeah.
But he's doing like a squirrel and a dog where they circle the tree. Like he's staying on the opposite side of your haircut, just so she can't like. Retaliate.
Excellent.
Farah is just like chuckling to herself and also shoveling food into her mouth. Yeah.
Your bird seems to have stolen some of my food. Does he do that often? Yeah, I see you back there, you little rat.
And then I go up to her and say, "One cannot control the whims of ravens. Who are you sitting with this morning?"
Brunskull hasn't come down from his room yet. I was hungry, so I'm going to. And she comes over and she's standing in front of you and like reloading her plate a little bit. And then as you guys are talking, you hear a and you feel Pip scatter, and you realize that she has reached around with her tail and slapped the bird on the back of your head. Not hard, just a little like.
Just a little bit. Wow.
Just a goosem. Like, yeah, I got tricks too.
And I say, "You're welcome to have breakfast with us."
Well, I suppose we're working together today, so why not?
Farah mid-chew's like, "I ordered."
Morning, Miss Farah. Great. So, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, why not? And she kind of sits down with you guys. Goes, so we didn't really get to chat too much last night. I mean, it was pretty late. Like, what brings you guys to town here?
Adventure.
Okay.
Skink sort of like chuckles and nods. That's usually why we go places.
Oh, so really, you guys are just like armed vagabonds. I'm not knocking it. It's kind of listen. It sounds fun. That came out really derogatory. I apologize. I don't get away from the olds all that often. But I was just curious. Like people come up here looking for flakes, looking for work. They have relatives, whatever. I was just wondering what the story was.
We thought we might find a good library.
Yeah, really more of a lark than anything to be up here. Why are you here, Arilla?
Well, it's funny you mentioned libraries. There's not a ton of. There's not much in Osk, but over in Wharfton, it's like a week away. It's the only other real town up here. There is an archive there, which is supposed to be pretty decent. I've been there a couple of times.
Well, then that's where we're going to go.
I haven't been to a lot of other places, but I don't have a lot to compare it to.
Thank you for that bit of knowledge. I was wondering. I mean, we really just got to Osk a few days ago, so we of course had to take a break because it's quite arduous getting up here. But it sounds like that might be something we'd be interested in. I don't know about you, Skink, but I am.
Yeah, make sure you sign on with you guys look like you can take care of yourselves, so you don't really need to jump on a caravan if you don't want to, if that's not your style. But there's a road, technically, we came that way coming here. It ain't an easy hike. We had mounts to ride and wagons and everything, and that made it a lot easier.
Is it a week on mount, then?
See, the funny thing about traveling through, the snow out here, when you're mounted, especially if you get what are they called? A barith. There's these bear lizard things you can ride that some of the stables here have. They're pretty good on the tundra and snow. They can really book it. If you're taking a horse or something or a wagon, difference in speed versus just hoofing it is not much, but you get a lot less tired. So there's that. So it's about a week either way. The weather this time of year, especially as it gets darker, can be tricky, though. We came a couple of months ago, it was more summer.
So you've been here for a couple of months?
We came here first a couple of months ago. Osk has kind of been our, home base. Brunskull's got us going out and doing some, And anyone who would like to can make a cleverness check now.
I would like to, because I was just about to ask.
Yeah, because I was like, we don't really know why Brunskull's here yet. We know they're here. We know they have an extra dude they're looking for, but that's not a reason to be here. We haven't learned why he's here.
I rolled a 9.
9?
Mm-hmm.
And I rolled another 9 plus 3.
Okay.
12.
Farah, you don't, this is just idle chit-chat conversation. You're shoveling down food. No big deal. Skink, you kind of have this sense, maybe because you're a little paying closer attention.
I'm paying
to her.
close attention.
You get the sense in this moment that she's like a bit of a sheltered kid, like doesn't really have the experience to be out here like wheeling and dealing with intrigue and secrets and that kind of stuff. And she's realized in this moment that she has said way too much to people she doesn't know that well. So she's kind of like, oh yeah, we're just, Brunskull's got us doing some training and stuff out in some of the ruins out here. So we come back to us. Yeah, he's really big on like fitness and martial arts and scholarship and that kind of stuff. And like his job is to make sure that we have the kind of foundation and education that we're supposed to and at that moment, you see Brunskull's hand kind of lands on her shoulder behind her, and he's holding a plate of like steaming grits, and he's just like, "Yeah,
And
good to see you all this morning."
Skink looks up at Brunskull and says, "We've been having such a lovely time talking to your young charge."
I'm sure you have. And I'm glad you're getting to know one another. And you see Arilla just kind of winces when he says that. Just, good morning, Master Brunskull.
Skink takes a little bite of food off of her plate and then puts it on Arilla's plate as to repay the food that Pip took and just trying to let her know I'm on your side here. Brunskull, will you be having breakfast with us?
Yes, I don't mind if I join you. As you put the food back onto her plate, Skink, you feel under the table a little, she doesn't react, but a little tap of her tail on your knee. Just,
Oh.
Yes.
ridiculous.
I love it so much.
You're gonna wind up being a major character.
I love it.
And Brunskull joins you, says, good morning, everyone. I hope you are still eager to help me find our missing companion.
Yeah, happy to help.
Reward still stands. I was thinking Arilla and I might go, we'll make a circuit one way around the town, and if you two wouldn't mind stopping at, and he kind of pulls out a notepad, like he's clearly been brainstorming, here's a number of establishments that I think he might like to frequent on the other side of town. We'll head south, you head north, and we'll circle around, and we can meet back either here this evening or possibly over at the Long Hall this afternoon. And hopefully one of us will have spotted him. His name, by the way, is Jat.
Jat.
J-A-T?
Correct, yes. He's a good fellow. I just hope he's not in too much... He can get himself into situations from time to time, you understand. As all the young wards are prone to do, and Arilla just kind of... Master Brunskull, sorry.
Skink, as someone who has been in numerous situations, says, it's good for their education.
Education is very important to our order. I overheard you mentioning something about the library in Wharfton, the archive. It's well worth a visit. It is an establishment that some of my companions maintain, in point of fact, and so Arilla and I have spent some good time there. This is not our point of origin, but when we come up here, we make the trek out there and spend some time with them. It keeps everybody good to cross-pollinate, as it were.
So Skink and Farah have to decide how they want to spend their day. So
I'm good for searching for him, and then I'm gonna say to Brunskoll, we have to probably meet somebody at the Long Hall anyway, so we could meet back there in the afternoon, if that works for you.
Let's do that. I think, as I said, we'll head south. We'll stop at some of the seedier taverns and inns are the only places I didn't think to check yesterday, so we'll go.
And remind me again what Jat looks like.
He's a good-looking man, a little bit shorter than me, glowing eyes, really the key, dressed similarly to us, usually. He grabs an overcoat, he's got a large kind of cloak that he enjoys, but his underrobes kind of have this same pattern and coloration on it. We're all part of the same group.
So we should pretty easily be able to identify him.
If he lets, if he's not hiding in the, yes, if you see him, you should know him.
Skink asks, will his glowing eyes be covered, or are they just glowing openly? He's not like wearing sunglasses all day, is he?
It's not like, you'll notice more if you're in the dark with him or a shadowed area, which this time of year, it's more like, you ever see a deer in torchlight? Kind of that effect. It's more like that. They're not like lighting up the room.
Got it. It's the Trapidum lucidum.
He got a natural 12. He goes, very good. I knew that.
Let me make sure I said it right.
There was a world there where Brunskoll was like, what the fuck?
Tapetum lucidum. I misspoke.
Actually, Miss Farah, I think you'll find it is the tapetum lucidum.
Yes.
Anyways, Arilla, we should be heading out. I want to get an early start on this. Possibly find him before he wakes up.
Us too.
And then he stands, and you see Arilla just, we'll see you guys later. And then she walks out, and Skink, you see her tail waves at you as she leaves. As they head out the door, Arilla drops her plate down in front of you. Obviously, the waitstaff here comes around and cleans up plates. A small hand reaches out from the booth behind you and snags a piece of bacon off of Arilla's plate. Scott, would you like to introduce your character to us?
What is this hand? Who does this belong to?
Scott, you feel a crow peck your hand as you do that.
Well, Aster, I'll put you in the next stew.
I think Skink, seeing this hand come out, hearing someone say something mean to Pip, is immediately going to grab the hand.
Yeah.
Let it go. It's a little tender.
And then, is it like over a booth? Is it like a diner booth kind of thing?
Yes, yeah.
I think Skink's gonna hold on to the hand, stand up on the bench, and then look over the other side. Who
Hello.
might you be?
A fellow purveyor, a connoisseur of cuisine, a nobody really, a true nobody. Definitely nobody you're looking for.
And then I just kind of whisper. I don't want to say it loud. Like I sort of like glance up to see if Brunskoll and Arilla are gone, and then I just whisper really close. Yeah.
Please don't tell on me. I'm having such a good time.
Do you want to have breakfast with us?
I would love nothing more.
Jat, you feel a crow or a raven perch in the back of your hair and just start pulling on your bangs.
What is with this bird? Why boundaries?
You know, usually if you give Pip a little bit of food, he'll be your
I will do no
friend.
such thing. Absolutely not. Ow!
At this point, Skink has let go of the hand, and now it's just Pip tormenting him.
Oh,
And
wait.
he's like chuckling as he like nestles back on Skink's head. Just
Did I just hear that you found Jet already?
And then I
Allegedly.
I look at Farah, and I just like put my finger in front of my mouth, and I go, shh, and I like wave Jat over to come sit with us.
Okay.
So Jat, we've begun to hear so much about you. Tell us about yourself.
Again, allegedly. Allegedly, Jack. But yes, hello.
Okay, do
Thank
his
you for
eyes
inviting
glow?
me. Oh, shit. Sorry, they kind of kick in when I'm heightened into my emotions. Thanks to your bird, thank you. So he just kind of like, there we go.
So his eyes were glowing.
They glow, but they're more reactive than like
And are you
always
wearing
glowing.
Are you wearing the garb of Run School?
Allegedly.
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 Okay.
I think
Scott,
so.
would you describe Jet for us before we jump any further?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Jet Sikor, the full name. He is forgive me if I'm mispronouncing this. Firmalite?
Firmalite, yeah.
Yeah, okay. He is a Firmalite, so he does tend to take a little bit more of a elvish appearance with like the sharper features, about the same height. If you're familiar with like Castlevania or even Assassin's Creed, it's like that kind of warrior Eastern monk style rather than like a Shaolin monk kind of thing. He is, in comparison to Brunskull and Arilla, his is a little bit more decorative. Like it's a little bit more flashy. You might see like certain features on him. You'll see like a little bit more of a ceremonial sash across his chest. You'll see two bell hammers on his waist. And he does have a coat, but in comparison to the other two, it has like a thicker fur coat. But yeah. And then like really saturated blue eyes.
All right. What would you like us to call you since you're not allegedly Jet? Jay?
I'd prefer temporary. Temporary would be a great temporary acquaintance, temporary friend. I would prefer if this did not go back to those two. Would really appreciate that. I don't know what he's offering, but
I'm like,
Heidi?
how much is it worth to you? Skink is like
Skink
still
is
on the
gaming.
fence about like who has whose allegiances and is like very self-serving and almost mercenary. So like is sort of
whatever
happy to-
he's offering, I will double it.
6
well-
platinum?
As an IOU. I will double it as an IOU.
Not convinced.
Before we talk about wagers, why don't we talk a little bit more about what everybody's doing here in Osk and find
Jet,
out?
I think
You can also pay us in knowledge.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be platinum.
Oh. Okay.
Jet, I
Yeah.
think you have a moment of realizing if Brunskull is putting up platinum to strangers, he's probably pissed.
Yeah. Okay. You said 3 platinum?
3.
Ooh. Stingy old bastards, finally. All right. I need to rectify this, I guess. That's not good. All right. Do you know where they said they were going?
They're searching for you in the south of the city.
In the south. Okay. When did they leave? About 5 minutes ago, Chris?
Approximately.
Yeah, just right before the start of this conversation.
Okay. All right, here's what we'll do.
Pip is picking things off of your plate, Jet.
Of course he is.
And Skink just says,
Does he
I
have a
told you,
leash?
you should just give him some food and then he'll be your friend.
But I don't want to give. Okay. Anyways, we're getting off track.
He flicks a bone at you.
Look, if I could just get, I don't know, 30 more minutes. 30 more minutes. I will go with you. I'll even put on for you saying that you guys found me. I don't know. You make up a story and I'll just go with it. It's just so nice to actually just have me time. Do you know the me time, right? Like it's just this mission and this journey and this everything is just,
What is your
he just
mission
swigs
and
on it some
journey?
ale.
Yeah, what is Brune School having you do here that you need so much me time for?
What did the old man tell you?
Everything. You tell us more.
Everything.
Mm.
Well, I mean, it sounds like he told you everything, so I don't really need to go into detail. Because ultimately what I was going to say is whatever he told you is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
He takes another big swig of his ale.
Skink,
You put it down, and Pip knocks over your tankard.
Now that's just rude. It's very uncivilized. I'm trying to give you all the chances in the world, and yet here you are. Mm-hmm. Anyways,
You're only gonna get your 30 minutes if you give us more information. Otherwise, I'm gonna find
okay, fine.
In
Look,
fact, we can give you more of the day if you give us more information.
look, I can't, look, what I can tell you is that part of the order, we have certain responsibilities to fulfill. We are up here because we've heard about some magic wibbly woo in the wilds, and we're just trying to find out more information about that right now.
Fair.
And that is, honest to goodness truth, the most I can tell you.
All right, you earned your 30 minutes.
Thank you. Anyways, I'm gonna get seconds. Do you want seconds? Second. These are good bacon.
Yeah, I'll go up with you.
And just rush off to fill up the plate again.
Skink is just sitting there wondering, like, should I be mean to this person? Like, like truly undecided. Like, Skink sits there in the booth, watching the two of you go up for more food, and is, looking at Pip, looking back, and wondering, feeling like, this one feels like it's not going to give me anything. This person feels very withholding, and Skink's not really a fan of withholding, and is just like sort of silently brooding in the booth while you guys go get food.
So we come back with our plates.
Yes.
I'm again
And,
shoveling food.
I have definitely refilled the tankard. Look at the bird, and I just kind of hold it.
So then Skink says, so, allegedly, Jat, did you hear about what happened last night? It must have made its way through the whole town of Oz by
Jet,
now.
go ahead and roll a... This is actually going to be a cleverness check.
Uh-oh. Okay, that is my highest stat.
Ooh.
Weirdly enough. Interesting. Oh, because it's, yeah, I use it for everything.
It's a fantasy game.
I got a dirty 9.
Dirty 9. Yeah, so normally knowing stuff is obviously a knowledge roll. In this case, we're using cleverness because this would be because of the time, imminentness, recentness. This would be more of like how plugged are you into like rumors and circulating news and stuff. 9, you heard that someone died over at the Long Hall last night.
Yeah.
That's all you know.
Yeah, no, I heard that you all had quite an eventful evening here.
Point of order, this is not the Long Hall. This is the Midwinter Sun.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I heard I heard there was some commotion at another nearby institution. I believe the midsummer, something like that. Yeah, I've not heard anything else since then, though. Did they find the culprit?
So then Skink is just sort of like drumming their fingers on the table and says, "Well, the dead man told me that someone."
The dead man.
Yeah. You ever talk to the dead, allegedly, Jat?
There's a lot of hostility coming to my side of the table here. A little aggressive for someone who's talking to corpses. I will just throw that out there.
Pip is nestled in Skink's hair, growling at you.
And
Like a cat. He sounds like a cat.
But then again, I guess conversing with the dead is the least strange thing I've heard today.
And Skink goes, "You know, sometimes it's easier to make people talk when they're dead."
Just goes right over Jad's head. He's just grabbing another fistful of bacon and just chowing on it.
This is like way
You see
more.
even Pip kind of deflates, just like he didn't get it. Just
I think Farrah is chuckling as she's eating. Like, just not even. At this point, she thinks she's getting 3 platinum for nothing, so she's excited.
And then Skink spells out, "You know, if you don't want to tell us anything here at this table while you're alive."
Cannot tell you anything. Want and can't are very, very fine details here, but it's an important detail. I want to tell you more things.
Then,
I cannot tell you
now
more things.
Skink's eyebrows go up and go, "Are you cursed?"
Depends on who you ask. If you ask me, yes, abso-fucking-lutely.
Skink
But
looks
I
up.
have seen a professional, and according to them, they have not properly diagnosed me to be cursed.
I'm gonna add a note to Jet's backstory page here.
Stuck in medical system.
Did not receive prior authorization for curse removal.
I think
from Tumble Fray.
so. I think like Skink backs off a little bit with the like can't and is wondering like maybe this person is truly under some dark cloud that like I actually don't want to get involved with. Like I don't want to like accidentally unleash some sort of like bad spell by killing him myself.
Skink, go ahead and pop off a cleverness check for me. This is not a failure situation. It's just a matter of like the better you do, the more you get.
Sure. I only got a 6.
You got a 6. Okay. I think one thing that tickles you in this conversation is he said specifically he can't tell you what they are doing here. That has nothing to do with why he's MIA.
Right. I guess, like, Skink sort of is making an assumption that this guy just wants to do things away from his mentor, like, maybe has some sort of problems with authority, and, like, that's the assumption that Skink is making, and is like, okay, fine, you won't tell us what the whole group is doing. I don't give a shit about you and your individual desires. I don't care why you're gone. If your therapist couldn't figure out what was wrong with you, I'm not gonna ask.
I was about to say I don't appreciate being seen like this right now.
I think on consideration, fuck your motivations.
Yeah, it's true. It's like is what Skink is thinking right now, and is like maybe losing and like backs off a little bit of the push of like, and it's just gonna like sit back and see if Farrah has any other questions to throw forth.
Can you at least tell us what order you're in?
You know what? I shouldn't, I shouldn't, but they give you a lot of grief. You're dealing with the hard ass over there, so I feel like I can at least do this. Yes, I am Jatsipor of the 7 steps.
Of the 7 steps.
I think it's okay for them to know their existence, because like the order doesn't really. I mean, they keep their affairs secret, but they don't really like shy away from being in the public eye that crazy.
Yeah, they're not a group that like super advertises, and I think we're gonna do some checks here.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
So just above the table level, not a group that like. This is the equivalent of like driving into a corporate park and seeing like the McMurder group or like the Johnson group or something, and you're like, what the fuck do they do? But like the name's out there. Would anyone like to make a knowledge check?
I would.
As would I.
Oh, I got a nat 12!
Wow! Yay, Ratty!
So, interesting moment here. You can take the 12, add your bonus, and take a fate point, or you could opt to forego the fate point and roll again and add another d12.
That's exploding the dice, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
I will tell you, this is not a group that is easy to know about.
So if I explode the dice, it's good, right?
You're potentially weirdly have knowledge of something that you have no business really knowing about.
I think I know.
Like
what-
a 12 is good plus whatever your bonus is, but
Yeah.
like still potentially you don't know much.
Okay, I'm gonna explode the dice.
Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we're people who hang out in libraries all the time.
I got
so.
an extra 9 plus my modifier is 3.
We are fond of our books.
So you got a 24 on this?
Yes.
A
Wait.
20.
Did you roll another 12?
No. 12
Oh.
plus 9 is 21 plus 3 is 24, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
Oh, so a dirty 12. Okay.
just on my check difficulty scale for Relict, because it's a D12 system. For those listening at home, we use the 12 as our base for all of our math instead of a 20, like you might have heard in other places. On the difficulty scale, anything over a 21 is in the like mythic and legendary feats category. Like can be done, doesn't happen very often. So a 24 on knowledge, Farah immediately is like, oh, Order of the 7 Steps. I fucking read about this in a scroll in the back of an archive in an abandoned library in a city that's dead. Not even the last one I went to. Completely different time. But I happened to read this book, and y'all fuckers lost your inauguration rights, and you found the fucking blueprint to these guys that they clearly didn't intend to distribute somewhere, and just had that information tucked away. So he says Order of the 7 Steps and just bing, light bulb. The Order of the 7 Steps is concerned with preserving knowledge across what they believe to be multiple incarnations of the world. This is a group of people who are like, there are martial elements to their order. There are seeking elements to their order, gathering knowledge and like preserving it and expanding what they know and the resources they have access to. There are elements of their order that are dedicated. You're getting the whole fucking 9 yards here. There are elements of the order that are dedicated to interfacing with the powers that be in a given region. They provide services, libraries, like that kind of deal. It's sort of like a missionary is not quite the right word because they don't evangelize, but ambassador is more of a better view of it. Like, hey, we want to operate in your place here. We don't want you giving us trouble. We're going to provide these goods and services. Leave us alone. Like that kind of deal with a lot of different like kingdoms and fiefdoms and powers and regions and whatever. Like whenever they have someone who like is potentially an issue, they do that kind of stuff. Even on a ridiculous knowledge check, I think it's very clear to you. There's a level of knowledge where it's like, oh, it's clear I don't know what I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You read one book that you never should have had access to.
It's like when you
it hinted. Sorry, go ahead.
when you read about the Gnostics and like you have a pretty good idea, but you still don't know their inner workings.
Exactly. So like, there's a very clear dividing line of like, this is all in service of something. Don't know what that is. They did not write that down. And I think you probably got the outline of like, this is a group where like they covet information, they gather as much as possible, and they're also precious with it. So I think it is logical to you to be like, there's stuff that Jet probably can't tell us or won't voluntarily that he knows. There's probably stuff that Brunskill knows that Jet doesn't know. There's probably stuff that all of them know that is wrong because they've been deliberately misinformed because someone higher up the chain is deciding what they should know and should think. But like, that is kind of the spiderweb outline of this organization you get. And that's what a 24 gets you.
Cool.
So cutting back to the scene, it's just like, yeah, it's kind of a big deal.
Skink just still doesn't really like this guy and doesn't know anything.
I don't think
Yeah, Pip is fighting him for a fucking piece of bacon right now.
Truly.
You've had so much bacon.
Farrah does not let him know that she knows as much as she does, but she does.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think at this point, I would say, well, we do need to get you back to Brood School.
That's been 30 minutes already, hasn't it?
It probably hasn't quite been 30 minutes, actually.
No,
It's pushing it.
We've got like we're at like the 22-minute mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
then
a
We
lot
could get
of
dessert.
a lot of the time was used by me fighting off for my food from the bird. So
yeah.
What have you been doing in town to avoid Brood School? Have you just literally been going around and eating places? That's what he alluded to.
you know, because he just this is where my genius comes into play. He thinks that I'm going to be coming up with some clever places to hide, but really, I know he's going to think that. So I think of the more obvious places to hide
Like
because
right
he
under
won't
his
think of
nose?
that. Exactly. Hence why I'm here.
Okay. All right.
So you haven't been doing like a Yelp review of every tavern, bar, pub in
Actually,
in Oz?
he pulls out his this old battered book and just like it's like mostly used. He's like at the last quarter of the book. He's like, I've been keeping a lot of notes because one of my passions is actually noting the local cuisines of each area that I visit. And I like to write about it, and it's really fun. And you know, sometimes you just come across these amazing hole-in-the-wall places, and it's just like, this should be world known. What is this amazing little soup shop doing with nobody in it?
Skink
He goes
is
on to
suddenly
like this
interested again.
tirade.
Yeah. Right.
Just goes on this tirade of just like how life is meant to be lived, and the best way to live life is to eat good food.
Skink and Vero weirdly, like, totally interested in this conversation.
Yeah.
Just let them rant.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
You see, he's got a bookmark. He's got a whole Osk chapter.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If I've been there, I've had the food, and I can tell you exactly what to get.
All right, where's the best place to eat in Osk then?
Sadly, here.
Oh, that's fair.
Oh.
It has
There's
been
not
good.
a lot going on here in Osk. I wanted it to be a little gem. It's turning out not to be.
Is that why you're hiding back in the hotel you're staying at?
In a little bit, yeah. Yes, exactly.
That was just the DM putting something together.
I mean, and I'm trying to be reasonable because, frankly, the most, like, when it comes to spices, the most they can really get is salt and sometimes pepper if they're feeling spicy.
Yeah, that's true.
But the blubber is incredible.
I have no earthly understanding of why the blubber here is amazing, but it is, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
Pristine. It's pristine.
I think it has something to do with the mineral lake.
Could be.
little New York reference.
Well,
Then as like their time is wrapping up, Skink just asks, so does Arilla take any me time?
Ah. So she's with him. Interesting. Wow,
What?
they really need to talk to me, huh? Oh boy.
You didn't come up with Arilla?
Not originally.
Oh, I thought you
They-
were traveling as a group.
Well, that's what I said I would do with them. I departed maybe a day or two sooner. Just to get a lay of the land, And then it turned into an extra 2 or 3, 4 days. Was hoping for 5, make it a nice prime number.
Well,
So they're both looking for me, huh?
yeah.
Oh boy. All right, he gets up from the table. All right, you said south?
Yeah, we'll walk you there.
Okay. Well, thank you. It'll be a good company. The bird does have a leash, yes?
No.
No.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Would you like a leash? Leashes aren't fun.
No. You know what? That's a good point. I will check myself in the future. And he
You guys-
extends to pet Pip as all right, let's have a truce, little guy.
He kind of like puffs at you, just like
All right.
Does that thing where like birds just hang there with their mouths open?
Yeah.
The just beak open, not saying anything, just
Yeah.
open. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, an attempt was made,
Good try.
and then so just start gathering the things. I leave a couple of copper on the table there. I'll leave 10. I'll leave 10 copper,
I don't.
and then
think
just
that
start heading to
Farah
the door.
And Skink leave a tip.
No.
it's a buffet.
Yeah. They said it was included. They said it was complimentary.
Yeah, but Osk operates on a tipping culture, and yes, I don't agree with it, but like, I'm here.
So I think maybe he's like leaving money on the table, and we just shrug.
Yeah.
Pip kind of glares, hops over to Farah's hood, rummages around for a second, pops up and tosses.
A rock.
Oh my god, please roll for it. Let it be random.
Rock.
Hold on, I gotta find a D4. Here's my 4.
Please let it be a platinum.
Pip tosses just a gold piece down on the table.
Yes, I love it. Hilarious.
I think we are gonna we're not gonna let Pip get away with that.
And Farah just like
That was just to
puts her
spite
hand
me.
on you and is like, just let it go. It's okay.
No, a gold piece? A gold piece?
Oh, okay, whatever.
So-
Make what change you want of it.
So then I
I'm
was
with
like,
her. He's just doing this to upstage me.
so I'm just like, fine. Now I'm like rummaging in my own pockets because it's like, I'm not leaving this gold piece here.
and how much
and-
of your pockets is actually like money? Isn't it like there's a whole bunch of fun
I
things
feel like I don't keep money in my pockets. Like I keep bones and like other stuff in my pockets,
Yeah.
but I
Pretty
don't
rocks.
keep money. So I really have to look because it's mostly like tucked away in a place that's like not accessible.
You
But
find
I-
a twig that you picked up like 6 months ago that was just like a cool shape. Like,
Yeah, I put down like 3 copper and a wishbone. I was like, listen, this is a very lucky wishbone for whoever is going to get it.
I love it.
The wait staff nearby to hear this. Just imagine them cutting to later when they're cleaning up the table. Like, they can't even leave the freaking bones on the plate, really?
are you guys departing the midwinter sun?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. As you guys head out the door, whoever's the last person through the door definitely hears, "Oh, cool, a wishbone."
Yay.
Told you.
I need the
We weren't
audience.
serving chicken today.
I need the audience to know that Pip does not know coins one from another. So that was entirely random.
Yeah, we have a system.
Yes.
We came up with a system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was not actually trying to upstage Jack.
Yeah, we came up with a system for how he distributes coins. Oh, delightful.
But
okay.
I do think that as we're leaving, we're not like in a hurry to get anywhere. I feel like I'm assuming Jad's gonna really drag his feet on this. Skink is not like excited to be done, but like is like, okay, whatever, we're doing this now. I guess this task is over for the day. So they're just like sort of strolling. They're not really hurrying.
No.
So I'll tell you guys this. Broomskull and Arilla were planning to make a circuit of possible places that they thought they could find Jat on the south side of town. I think you walk outside and realize, like, he gave you a list of places to try on the north side of town. You don't actually know where they went, but you do know that they're going to wind up at the long hall towards the end of the day.
Yeah. And then Skink looks at Jat and says, have you tried all of the taverns on the north side of Osk? Every one of them?
Every single one.
Well, that's less fun. I was good.
Actually, Jat, you say that, and then you realize that there is a fish hut. I'm not sure what to call it.
The one I thought was permanent closed.
It's only open one day a week.
Oh, is today that day?
Today is that day.
What a coincidence.
Because we could still do the tour as we look for you.
Absolutely.
You know what? I forgot about that fish hut. Have
Place
been
is called
eyeballing
Tenors.
it. Tenors. Thank you. I forgot that it happened to be the one day of the week. So, all right, look, I'm going to assume that if you're going to be audacious enough to be only open one day a week, there's a reason for it, and I have to assume it's good. So yes, let's make our way over there.
I love it.
Hey, it's your friendly neighborhood game master CD Corrigan here. This episode of the Nyx Archive is brought to you by me. As you've probably noticed, the Nyx Archive is running off the Relict RPG tabletop role-playing game system, which I created. Relict is absolutely free. It does not require a subscription, a paywall, an account, a battle pass, a microtransaction, none of that kind of stuff, because I am just not about it. You can try it for yourself with your friends at relictrpg.com. Now, having said that, being free to play does not mean that it is free to make or maintain, and the same goes for the Nyx Archive. If you would like to help cover the costs of microphones, software, equipment, time and energy, and hopefully taking some of my workload off to pay artists and editors and other contributors, you can check out the ways to support Relict on the website there. We have donation pages, we have a Patreon, we have a number of things. We're selling adventures and some goodies and accessories this year. And the Nyx Archive itself does have a dedicated Patreon where you can access early episodes, behind-the-scenes content, and an after show. We'll expand what's offered there based on kind of as the community grows, what people are most interested in seeing, maybe art, maybe some special edition or some merch or whatever. You tell us, we'll figure it out. But in the meantime, if you would like to help us keep this thing rolling and get off the ground here, that is a great way to do it. Find the links to all of that, well, depending on what app you're on, exactly where you'd expect to find such things. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, so you guys set off heading to Tenor's Ice Hut. I don't know what the subtitle is on that. It's Tenor's Ice Hut. There we go. Tenor's Fish Hut. That's what I meant. Tenor's, Jat, you would have spotted this place a couple of times. It's actually not. It's up near Gallios, the Thin Winter Outfitters guys, but it's a couple blocks further towards the frozen river. It is like right on the shore.
Yeah.
There's a little, as you guys approach, you are in the 3 hours a day of daylight at this point. As you guys approach, you're heading towards the shore. It's a little tricky, you realize, as you kind of get down there because the snow cover is so pervasive. The river is frozen over. There are places where the edge of the river and the edge of the road are not easy to discern until you're like walking along and be like, oh, we're over water right now. Like it's kind of that situation. Easiest thing to spot is actually the docks that are, the ice is just frozen right underneath them now. Tenor's is a little shack, probably big enough for like 3 people, set right at the end of one dock on the shore. And there is looks like a rowboat frozen halfway into the river right next to it. And then out on the ice, you see what is a common sight here in Osk is a number of small, kind of semi-temporary huts that are scattered throughout the river. And you would, I think, have picked up by now these are used for ice fishing.
Is there a line out the door? Is this one of those hole-in-the-wall places that's, like, super packed when they're open?
Please say yes.
We're gonna roll for it. We're rolling
I need
for
this.
There are a handful of people standing outside.
Okay. It bodes well.
Okay.
What you do spot as you get closer is there's a tavern nearby, kind of a block away, and you see a lot of people huddled in there for warmth, looking out and checking on the line at tenors.
Funny. Okay.
Skink is gonna do what they always do when there's just gonna be a lot of standing around and ask Jet, hey, you smoke?
Oh, I like you. We weren't allowed to partake in the monasteries. I live by my code. Life is meant to be lived. And if you're offering, abso-friggin-lutely.
Pimp shuffles around in your pack and pops out and hands you a paper.
All right.
Why can't you be more like this?
he gives it to me. So then Skink goes about like setting about rolling up a little something, and asks Jat, like, so how long have you known Arilla?
It's a little bit of complicated history. Or maybe not. Look, she's my best friend in the whole world. We met when we were taken into the order. She kind of keeps me grounded, keeps me tethered.
With that
everyone
tail.
else is such a... Well, only once, and we just decided that we just weren't compatible that way. It was a great fling. We moved on, and we're better for it.
Wow.
Why do you ask?
Oh, just getting to know people. And she passes him the.
I don't normally encourage rolling player to player, but Jet, you can make a cleverness check if you want.
I was just about to say, like, am I picking up what she's putting down, or am I oblivious again?
Yeah, make a cleverness check. Skank, you can choose to oppose this or not.
Sure. Why not?
Okay,
I've already rolled.
Roll clever.
I've already rolled. It was a nat 12 plus 4. That's 16.
I only rolled a 4.
Okay. And Jet, you can keep a fate point off that if you'd like.
I would love to keep a fate point. Yes.
Yeah. What does Jet pick up from Skank in this moment?
I mean, I think at this point it's like interest and curiosity. Like I just met this fiendling yesterday, but I'm like very curious, and it seems like I'm never going to get a chance to talk to them alone because Brinskull's always right there. So now I'm just like, hey, so what do you know about this fiendling?
It's also like the second time that Skink has asked.
It is the second time that I've asked in this little rendezvous, like, since meeting
45 minutes.
Yeah.
So it should be obvious that Skink is a little bit more interested in this person than anyone else, because like we let go of asking you why you're here, but I haven't let go of asking you about your friend.
What's her deal? She seen anyone?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can feel that that's what's going on there.
So I suppose in a rare instance of just epiphany for Jack, just immediately goes, oh. Well, in that case, she enjoys starlit nights, I just start going over like a lot of things that she's like really into, and it just go, do with that information as you will.
And I'm just like, thanks, man.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm wingman and 2 people right now. It's just she's looking.
Oh. And at this, now I'm just like, okay, Jat's my buddy. Now, it like at the words she's looking, now I'm just like, all right, he's cool with me. I like internally decide that I'm gonna buy him a fish.
I love it.
And I have decided that Jad is cool with skin. Sorry, moving on.
You guys arrive at Tenner's. There are, I'm going to say, 2 people left at the time you walk up there, shivering in front of this shack. And it is truly a shack. There is a window with like a sliding wooden door that is currently closed, an awning that is not protruding enough to cover anyone standing under it from the snow, and a steady stream of stove smoke coming out of a little pipe at the top of this shack.
Can I use my minor enchantment again? Or no, wait. Yeah. To I can either heat the water bottles again, or I can make a target an extremely good insulator.
Either way, yeah.
All right. I think instead of having to pull out water bottles, I'm gonna just touch I'll touch my jacket first, and make it an extremely good insulator, even better than what it is already, even though I bought a top of the line. And I'm gonna ask Skink. Hey, Skink, do you want me to insulate your jacket so you stay a little bit warmer?
Oh, yes, please.
What does it look like magically as Farah casts this kind of
No,
stuff?
I was just trying to come up with that. That was the boop noise that you heard.
It looks like a boop.
I think that it's like a little. I think there's a little twirl to her finger, and then a pop, and maybe like a little couple of sparks of magic, and it's done.
This glittering mote of energy that looks like, I'm going to say, the metallic flakes, the same color as Farah herself. These little metallic flakes trace through the air and infuse into the object that she touches. And just for a moment, as that kind of shimmers across, your coat, Skink, kind of has a little bit of that same like metallic shimmer coat to it before it sort of dissipates.
Jat, I don't know what kind of magic you have access to, but I can make you a little warmer while we wait in line.
Well, a lot of my spells require movement, so any assistance would be greatly appreciated.
Can do. And she's gonna do the same thing to Jat.
Oh, it just feels amazing.
Yeah, you don't notice much for a moment, and then you realize that the coat is it's like you've put on 4 layers of coat. Yeah. And it's just warming up much, much faster.
Instead of like cold seeping in, you just notice that you stay relatively stable.
Yeah, I imagine it's a lot like that initial like tingling when you can tell that you're getting acclimated. It's like, and that's the relief, because you know it's not there yet, but it's coming, and you know it's coming.
As you guys are having this discussion, the window at Tenor slides open. A burlap sack with a little like grease stain seeping through it is handed to the people in front of you. They take it and the window slams again.
All right.
And they
this makes
shuffle
Jat
off.
This makes Jat extremely excited.
We approach the window.
This is good.
There is a tiny little bell on a hook outside the window.
Can we reach it?
Jet can.
Jet, it's all on you, man.
Ting!
Ding, ding, ding. Window slides open. You see before you a what's funniest? You see before you a small fae who is a Faye in Relict is kind of this elven, sylvan type looking person with either dragonfly or butterfly type wings behind them. They range in size from gnome size to like human size. This one's somewhere in between and has the dragonfly wings. He is wearing thick, like snow pants and some like skins and stuff, but his top layer is stripped down and tied around his waist, and he's got just a simple like tank top on underneath it. He's sweating visibly a little bit. He's got pointed ears, these like frilly pointed like fey eyebrows, a streak of green hair that is pulled back into a tight greasy little rat tail, and he's got a giant like fucking pen gauge fish hook shoved through one eyebrow that looks like it's just been there forever.
Cool.
Doesn't look like an intentional piercing, has just been that way. 3.
3.
3.
Big fish or little fish?
Big fish.
10 copper.
And Farrah's gonna rummage through her pockets. I think
I still have that.
gold coin.
Gold coin.
Wait, it's 10 copper for all 3 of the fish, right?
Each.
Oh, each? Oh,
yeah. So I think
Tenors.
this is
No,
tenors.
that tracks.
The door slams.
Hey, I was just getting money. I was covering them, asshole.
Skink knocks on the window with the gold piece
I like it.
and just waves. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
I was
there we
gonna
go.
cover for us, but okay, thank
How
you.
many copper and gold?
I don't
100,
remember.
right?
I don't remember the conversion.
100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah, so
paid
you definitely
like
overpaid.
3 times as much.
Way overpaid. Way overpaid.
It's okay. We're so into this though.
Door opens again, 7 silver just get thrown onto the ground, close again.
There we go.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You just hear from inside, 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes.
Sweet.
All right.
Worth it. I'm excited. Maybe it's worth it. I mean, I don't know.
Can I just go ahead and do just kind of a situation check to see if anyone's been watching, everyone's like looking for us,
Precision
anything
check.
like that? Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It's my second highest stat. That's gonna be a 11.
11 precision. Okay. As you are scrambling around to pick up the 7 silver and change that he has thrown to you, you kind of glance down the street, and over towards Thin Winter Outfitters is the same man you've spotted the past couple of days.
That I've spotted?
Yeah.
Runskull?
No.
Interesting.
And he, as soon as you look up that way, he kind of like goes off down a side street.
So they said they were going to meet they were going to end up back at the Long Hall eventually, right?
Yeah.
If that's the case, why don't we just take it a go instead? Why stay out in the cold
I mean,
like this all day
Yeah,
when we
winter,
know where
it's
they're
really
going to be
chilly.
eventually? Yeah.
totally fair.
Instead of let's do that.
Do we need to do a cleverness check to see if he's nervous at all?
If you would like to, go for it.
I would.
Scott, if you're trying to hide it, go ahead and do an opposed cleverness.
Which is okay.
I got a dirty 12.
I got a dirty 12 as well.
I got a dirty 12.
Shut up.
Roll it again.
Wait, really? All 3 of us? Holy shit.
What are the odds? Somebody do the
Oh.
math.
Okay, that's another
8%.
dirty 12.
All right, this time I got 11 plus 3, so 14.
I got 11.
Okay.
Farah doesn't clock anything. Skink, you would see that Jat is nervous about something.
Mm-hmm.
Farrah's just very focused on the fish right now.
And like, I just wonder like why, but I'm not gonna do anything.
You just clock it and you're like, all
I
right.
just like, okay.
I look
Maybe-
up at Arilla, or I look up at Sink, and I make a quick note. By the way, Arilla, very, very into fish. Just very into fish. Just throwing that out there.
And I'm like, should we have gotten 4?
I mean, you want to get another
We're
one?
already out of line.
No.
We're already out of line.
You're going to have to save part of yours.
I'm just gonna have to give her my fish.
Oh, you got into her. Cute.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
And then we head back to Long Hall.
I like it.
So after 10 minutes elapse, the door slams open again.
Oh, right.
3 bags are held out.
Grab them quickly.
Slam closed.
Love it. It smells good.
Yeah.
It does smell delicious. Do you guys dig in?
Is
No,
it
we're
hot
gonna-
or is it cold?
Oh, it's hot.
It's hot.
I'm
Okay.
gonna
it's hot.
shove it in my jacket, in my coat,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can
Yeah.
haul ass back to Long Haul.
Okay. You guys are hauling across town. Excuse me. Jat, you're getting this whiff of like something fried seafood. Some kind of breading, but spiced in a way that you're not quite familiar with. And did he fried it in the blubber?
Oh.
It's gonna be
That's unique.
Oh.
Oh, that's okay. That's something. This is unlike anything else you've had in Nosk so far.
Yeah.
We're in for a treat. I can already tell. I'm getting hints of saffron. I'm getting hints of dill. It's just there's just some peak of it, and it's kind of. I'm looking at it, like I'm opening it. I can't. I have to pull it out. I'm looking at it. I'm like, did he fry this in crepe batter? Are you kidding me?
You see chunks. What is soaking into the sack there are these breaded, partially like bread crusted chunks of this immaculate longfish. You're not even sure what kind, and you surmise that it's probably whatever he caught this week that has been chopped up into these like fish stick sized pieces and deep fried in some blend and stir of spices and different like seasonings on it. Some of the seasonings, you realize as you're looking at the bag, some portion of the seasoning blend was pre-frying, some of it was during the fry, and some of it was clearly thrown in after the fry and the bag was shaken up before it was handed to you.
So this is making Maddie want fried fish.
I'm just like, I had no idea I was going to be on a foodie podcast. Like, is this? Should we start doing food reviews? Is that what we're doing? This is like incredibly elaborate fantasy food, and I'm so here for it.
So upon my detective work, I release an actual tear that freezes like halfway down the cheek.
Yeah, you gotta like break it off.
I'm sorry. I just need a moment.
It is actively losing steam as you hold the bag open.
We gotta go.
We're like hauling to the long haul. Hauling to the
You
long
guys
haul.
run across town to the long haul, slogging through snow. I think Jat's probably blazing the trail for you.
Yeah,
because,
Farrah's like lagging behind.
Yeah, clong, 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 clong. Metal Mario.
Mario.
You guys are hauling across town. The snow is kind of whipping up. The sun is already kissing the horizon. As you get into the afternoon, effectively, you see the long haul. Around the corner, you're approaching the long haul. You see this long 2-story structure that shut up, fucker. You see this elongated 2-story structure with this strongly pitched roof and a couple of dormers out there. That some of them are windows into rooms that you didn't really get into much, and some of them are actually disguised vents to let the chimney smoke of the hearths in the hall vent out. And as you're kind of jogging down the street, you see a flash in all of the windows on the ground floor. And then another in the windows on the top floor. And as you kind of pause to go, what? The entire side of the building blows outward in a massive fireball.
Whoa.
And that is where we are going to stop episode 3.
Whoa.
of the Nyx Archive. Thank you so much for being here. Let's do one more round. I've been CD Corrigan.
This is Maddie playing Farah. Bye, y'all.
I've been Marissa playing Skank.
And then we have Jat coming in.
A Jat Sapor representing Scott.
Scott Corrigan is my younger brother, for those of you who haven't put it together. Scott is also the co-writer for a number of the Relict Kickstarter modules and helped me put together our last show, 10 Silvers Bent, with Sounds Like Adventure. So, yeah, he's here now. We are going to pick this right up where we left off. We will see what happens to the long haul and whether or not Jat gets his fried fish. Thank you so much for coming out. See you next time.